who won day one and why, and what to expect on day two, and then the grand finale on day three. This is the biggest political story in the country at the moment, and no one quite tracks politics in the way that India today does. To get a sense of what the different camps think about the political action as it played out on day one, representing the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party, its spokesperson Shehzad Poonawalla squaring off against him, Mohan Kumaramangalam from the Congress Party, Bishwajit Deb from the Trinamool Congress, and Rahul Srivastav, our National Affairs Editor. I want to go across to Mohan Kumaramangalam first, because you put out a letter essentially suggesting that Rahul Gandhi would be opening batsman. Then you changed your mind. Gaurav Gogoi padded up, came out to bat, and I heard the BJP MP say maybe he didn't wake up on time, which is why he didn't show up, which is why you had to send somebody else to bat. Why didn't you tell our viewers what happened? Why have you held Rahul Gandhi back?
Well, I'm not going to choose to comment on that snide remark by the BJP MP. But I'll say that I'm not privy to our floor strategy. If I were to wager a guess, I would say we're waiting for when the Prime Minister actually comes to the House. He was also expected to be in the House today, and he wasn't. So my guess is that would be the reason why Mr. Gandhi hasn't spoken yet. He wants to probably speak when the Prime Minister is actually in the House for a change.
Rahul Srivastav, the buzz that I picked up in Parliament was that they want Rahul Gandhi to speak just before the Prime Minister. But the BJP doesn't want to happen. They want to insert one person in so that whoever that person is, whether it's say Minister Smriti Irani, she's the one countering Rahul Gandhi rather than it becoming Rahul versus Modi. What are you picking up?
Yes, that seems to be the strategy. See, initially it was loaded in a way that Rahul Gandhi, the Congress had approached the Speaker, mentioning that Rahul Gandhi would like to speak first.
Why did they change their mind, you think?
I think it was strategy. Sudhir Adhiranjan Chaudhary says कि हमने Googly मारा है. Now Googly has to score a wicket. Googly has to, and in case of a no confidence motion, this is a Bofors which has been mounted to actually kill a fly. But still, if you're not bringing a government down, you have to emerge with numbers and with a perception agenda. I think perception they can have, because numbers, it is going to be close to 360. That's good. The majority with 34 of the YSRCP and the BJD with the government, and I think more likely the numbers is a different issue, and the government will take that. Remember, the no confidence motion is agendaless.
Who won according to you on day one? Why?
See, day one, I have a theory, Rahul. Simple, I'll put it on the table first. I think they are trying to billet a Rahul Gandhi versus Narendra Modi. The Congress wants to make a grand show, and that's why they retracted.
No, but that's a bit like Musk versus
they wanted to do it.
Zuckerberg, but you don't. But the point is that in every battle that's happened between Rahul and Modi in the past, Modi's won each and every time. So is that even smart strategy?
Also, the advantage, a Prime Minister has no time-bound speech. Rahul Gandhi will have limited amount of time. Prime Minister replying to others can have endless time. So in time matters also, Prime Minister gets more space. I think the Congress made a mistake. In this debate, on specific Manipur issues, the BJP has to be a bit defensive. It will like to broad-base the debate on successes. That's why Nirmala Sitharaman is there. She will talk about the success of the economy. Nishikant's Dubey speech was very little about Manipur.
No, but let me put that question to Nishikant Dubey.
Just one more line. I think Rahul Gandhi should have spoken first, posed potent questions. BJP might not have had specific answers. For 2 days till Prime Minister Modi spoke, it would have got traction. I think they actually made a mistake. By speaking last, what will happen on that same day? First, Smriti Irani will be inserted, and then Prime Minister will speak. In those three speeches, which one will you choose more?
Unless, of course, you think you've got Surya Kumar Yadav in your midst and he can hit everyone else out of the park. But remember, Rahul Gandhi is no Surya Kumar Yadav, or hasn't been so far, and therefore just how much expectation can you have from him? Shehzad Poonawalla, if you listen to Nishikant Dubey, who was the opening batsman for the BJP, it seemed like he had a full speech prepared to counter Rahul Gandhi, except the subject changed in the end because he wasn't countering Rahul Gandhi. All of a sudden, he had to counter Gaurav Gogoi. How do you think day one went for you?
First of all, I think you should stop calling glorified night watchman as opening batsman. So I think Rahul Gandhi is nothing.
Whoever opens the match, for good or for bad, he's an opening batsman.
No, I think that what you were perceiving as an opening batsman, even the Congress has accepted that. First of all, forget no confidence against government. They have no confidence in Rahul, because I think Rahul Srivastav is also right in another way. What he has not said, what I have understood, is that ये पहले ही दिन पर self goal कर देगा Rahul Baba. नॉट राहुल कंवल और राहुल श्रीवास्तव, तो फिर 3 दिन यही साफ करते रहेंगे। और देखो राहुल श्रीवास्तव की मुस्कुराहट, मंद मंद मुस्कुराहट ही बहुत कुछ बोल जा रही है। तो आई थिंक दिस इज द फर्स्ट एविडेंस दैट नो कॉन्फिडेंस इज अगेंस्ट राहुल। सेकेंडली, TR Balu spoke, Supriya Sule spoke, Dimple Yadav spoke. Apart from that, some other people spoke. Did they speak about Manipur? They were not at all serious about Manipur. Look at the extensive manner in which Kiran Rijiju has given the statement. He's a minister of the government. And look at the kind of statements that were being made by Supriya Sule. I am sorry that I had to even be subjected to that. She's a member of parliament, but the manner in which she spoke, or Dimple Yadav spoke, I think it is disservice, and it also shows that lack of seriousness about the issue they were raising. And frankly, yesterday was the semi-final, no, Mr. Rahul? Yesterday was the semi-final. Today the final was taking place. The
this
opening
is a
batsman
test
did not
match.
come.
This is a test match.
No, Mr. Kejriwal called it a semi-final. Now, nobody in the BJP is foolish to make these events as final, semi-final. Mr. Kejriwal called it semi-final. Final के दिन पे opening batsman ही नहीं आया. But I have a larger question to ask. First of all, what is this no confidence motion? This is the first no confidence motion in the history of Rahul Srivastava and Rahul Kanwal that is not being brought against the government. ये एक दूसरे के बीच का no confidence है ना, आम आदमी पार्टी versus Congress,
so that's the point.
TMC
The BJP is
versus
seeking
left.
to
Their no
Bishwajit,
confidence is being done. And lastly, it is an exercise to build confidence in Rahul's leadership. This is the exercise that is being done in the name of Manipur.
From a Trinamool perspective, even the right idea, as you know, we look at day 1, build up to day 2, then day 3, the Congress very clearly wants to make this Rahul versus Modi. Would Mamta Di want the same, or do you think that could be a disaster? Because most Modi versus Rahul fights have ended just one way. You kind of already know who the winner is, at least so far that's been the case.
Well, let me make it clear that irrespective of the outcome, in a parliamentary system of democracy, this is the instrument to compel the Prime Minister to make his speech inside the House of the Parliament. We must hear the Prime Minister. We are not there to listen to the Home Minister. The Prime Minister has to address the nation on the issue of Manipur. It's a very serious issue where hundreds of people have lost their lives.
He will on Thursday. You aren't answering my question.
Arms are being brought from abroad. Please let me finish. Arms are being brought from abroad. AK-47 is being used. The Manipur government has failed miserably. The union government has failed miserably. The entire state is in a mess, and there is every probability that this fire will spread to the other states of the northeast. And we are very surprised that the Prime Minister has got no time either to visit Manipur or to make a statement inside the house. It's a shame.
Bishwajit, it's almost like you didn't hear my question, so let me ask you again.
Prime Minister of India
okay, let me ask you again. You know, like a lawyer, you're reading off from your prepared text. My question to you was, how did day 1 go? The Congress wants to make this Rahul versus Modi. Does Mamta Di think that's a good idea? Respond to my question, Dada.
First of all, you must understand that it's an alliance. It's an India alliance. And we are all together. We need to fight out this particular autocratic government. If we need to save the country, if we need to save our motherland, if we need to save our constitution, we have to be together, and we need to remove this particular government with the blessings of the people of India. Now, coming to Manipur, this is a very core issue which the government is trying to avoid. The government is repeatedly trying to avoid. The Prime Minister has got time since 3rd of May.
Okay, you're repeating what you said but not answering my question. My question, sir, was, can you hear me, Bishwajit Da? Can you hear me, sir? My question is, how was day 1? Congress wants to make this Rahul versus Modi. Does Mamta Banerjee think that's a good idea? You're not answering my question, Dada. I can't ask the same question again and again.
You are trying to twist the entire matter. You must understand that the Parliament now has moved a no confidence motion. The opposition has moved a no confidence motion against the government, and the government has to reply. And it is the Prime Minister whom the nation.
I've understood what you're saying. So Bishwajit Dev is a good lawyer. He's come with the script. He said, doesn't matter what the moderator says, I will go off on my talking points. But I want to go across to Mohan Kumar Mangalam, because there is an inherent risk in upping the ante and seeking to turn this into a Modi versus Rahul gladiatorial contest, because each and every time Rahul Gandhi and Prime Minister Modi have gone head on head, this battle has ended just one way. Why then does the Congress want, you saw how Bishwajit Dev, thrice I asked the same question, didn't even respond to it. They don't want to make this Rahul versus Modi, even if they don't say it, that this much rather be Team India versus Prime Minister Modi and his government. You're looking to up the ante on Rahul. You think he's changed post the Bharat Jodo Yatra, but every battle Modi versus Rahul ended just one way so far.
Rahul Srivastav ji made that excellent point where the Prime Minister often speaks last and has the maximum amount of time to speak. I still don't think he's won every battle. He has always managed to evade the questions placed to him. But thankfully, when they're placed by Mr. Rahul Gandhi, those questions go on record and become part of mainstream media. That in itself is a victory, I would say. You could argue who wins what debate. And what Shehzad Baba is not talking about is why the Prime Minister is running away from the debate till the very last day. It's been over 90 days and he refuses to talk about Manipur in the House. And Manipur has very much been the main reason why this has been brought. I think Gaurav Gogai's speech was excellent. It covered a whole range of issues about what's going on with Manipur. And even though Mr. Kiran Rijiju maybe spoke after 4 or 5 speakers, after and Gaurav Gogoi opened the speeches, he wasn't able to respond to anything that Gaurav Gogoi said in his speech.
Shehzad Kumar Mangalam is asking, as are many other opposition leaders, why doesn't the Prime Minister sit in the House and listen to what's being discussed?
This is what you are asking, what Kumar Mangalam asked and what Mr.
No, but respond to my question.
I'm responding to your question, but I'll also respond to the opposition's question. Mr. Dev and he both said that why isn't the Prime Minister speaking? In no confidence motion, can Prime Minister speak first?
No, that's not the question.
That's the point.
Question is,
the point is the lack of knowledge about the proceedings of Parliament.
Sit in Parliament and listen to what's being said.
I'll come to that also. I'll come to that also. No, I did not interrupt Mr. I can't answer 3 people at one time. I can answer 1 person one time. Let me answer in the way I decide. Secondly, if they were so interested in a charcha on Manipur, Rahul Kanwal and Rahul Srivastav, both of whom look at Parliament very seriously, how come 9 days the stand was Prime Minister must speak on Manipur, else no allowing of any business in house, and then Delhi Services Bill they changed the stand? What is special about Delhi Services Bill vis-a-vis the other bills that were passed in Parliament that they changed the stand that Manipur par Pradhan Mantri pehle bole, that was their consistent stand? How come that changed only at the time of Delhi Services Bill? That means their intention was never about Manipur. It was always about saving this so-called alliance where Mr. Dev can't even say that whether Rahul Gandhi is their projected leader in this alliance, at least in Parliament, at least for this event of no confidence motion. And finally, as far as Prime Minister's presence is concerned, the Prime Minister has to respond in the end to all. So he is taking note and cognizance of everything that is being said in the House. But I want to ask that why is it that Rahul Gandhi was not put forward as was being said by Congress leaders that he is going to be the opening batsman? Is it because they are shy that Rahul Gandhi would have made such a big gaffe that because of that gaffe, then 3 days they would have to only cover up for the gaffe? Or secondly, please tell me now the other speakers, Saugata Roy, T.R. Balu, Supriya Sule, Dimple Yadav, how much of their time was devoted on Manipur? Please tell me. You are telling me Prime Minister should speak on Manipur. Please tell me how much time the honorable leaders of opposition were devoting to Manipur. And thirdly, I am asking a very direct question. Kiran Rijiju has asked on record, and maybe the Congress spokesperson can answer. We have 5 sitting ministers from the Northeast. You tell me how many ministers you made between 2004 to 14. Let's talk about the incidents that used to take place. The incidents of insurgency have come down by 80%. The civilian deaths have come down by 90%. The number of railways, airports have doubled in the last 9 years. Yes, there are many things that need to be sorted out in Manipur. It is not a one-day affair. It is a legacy issue we are dealing with. But you tell me, if you are serious about it, why did you not allow Parliament to function for 9 days and then change your stand for Delhi Services Bill? How committed are you to the cause of Manipur? You are not committed. You said 267 mein charcha karo.
Okay, Bishwajit Dev wants to come in. Bishwajit Dev wants to respond to Shehzad Punawala. Go ahead, Bishwajit.
Yes. I want to ask Mr. Punawala that why in Rajya Sabha the chairman is not allowing a debate under Rule 267. Why Manipur is not being discussed for a long duration? Because this is a very serious issue. Why the government is shying out? Why the government is trying to avoid a discussion on Manipur? Why the Prime Minister is not coming inside the House? He has made a statement for only 30 seconds and that too outside the House. He doesn't have any time for Manipur. Why is that?
Let me ask that question to Rahul Srivastav.
Only 2 Lok Sabha seats. Only two Lok Sabha seats. Whereas in Bengal, he has time to come several times because Bengal has 42 Lok Sabha seats. This is the difference. This is the difference because they don't consider Manipur to be a part of India.
Okay, very quickly.
Very quickly, if their intention was Manipur is the only important issue that needs to be discussed, please tell me that a no confidence motion is a motion against the entire government on which a whole range of issues can be discussed, technically, constitutionally speaking. Why did they go for that? And why did they change their stand on Delhi Services Bill?
Okay, Rahul
why are they
Srivastava,
answering that question?
What is the best response that you've picked up about why the Prime Minister is not in the House listening to the debate? Because the argument I heard from the BJP in Parliament is even if he's there and if the opposition leader is just going to heckle and abuse him, then there's no point in him sitting there. They say that he's sitting in his cabin, listening very carefully and taking notes and will respond when his turn comes.
See, what I have noticed that times when you're in Parliament, that we are told that Prime Minister is listening to a debate. That's one thing is very clear.
But not inside
that
the
he
House.
listens, not inside the. See, most of the major debates he's there, but I have not seen a Prime Minister sit through the entire debates. It doesn't happen.
It never happened in the past.
Not really. It doesn't happen.
So that's
That
an
a Prime Minister-
unfair expectation.
No, I think what is happening is that there's definitely, given the kind of issues where the opposition feels that the Prime Minister should speak, Modi is, say, I have done a write-up on this, that Manmohan Singh spoke on several occasions. I think it's a tendency now that a Prime Minister who has lesser authority or lesser numbers is more inclined to speak in Parliament. Somebody who has a majority has got speaking directly to the public doesn't feel very inclined to speak.
Which is a strange thing, because what comes out from the data, Shehzad, is that Prime Minister Modi has actually spoken on fewer occasions in Parliament than Manmohan Singh.
30 versus 70.
In the years that they've been in power, who would have thought that Prime Minister Modi would be speaking lesser than Manmohan Singh?
I think that comparison that you have made, first of all, you need to see who was more effective and who was speaking for himself. So let us also understand that Manmohan Singh was hardly speaking for himself, and most of the times the speaking was being done or ordinances were being torn outside by people who are not even in government. So who had the authority when they were speaking in Parliament? Secondly, what is the question today? The question is that if they wanted a serious debate on Manipur, I have asked the two gentlemen
Let me put that question to
why
Mohan
is it
Kumar
that they
Amangalam.
compromise their stand on Delhi Services issue?
Why is it that such little time, if this is so much about Manipur, why is it that such little time is spent by the likes of Shugata Roy, Dimple Yadav, Supriya Sule in their speech actually talking about Manipur?
So I'll say that I saw pretty much the entire day's proceedings. I think Supriya Sule was very conscious, and even though she doesn't belong to my party, and I'm not speaking for her, but as an observer, I would say she was fairly conscious about not repeating many of the points that were made by speakers before her. And when you're putting the government on the mat in a no confidence motion, yes, one of the primary issues we're here to discuss is Manipur, but there is a whole range of reasons why we believe this government has lost confidence of the people. And therefore, it was important for her, and she did put forth very, very good arguments on inflation, on the erosion of many of the institutions, and I think she made a good speech. And if you look at some of the other speakers, like Mr. Gaurav Gogoi, who opened, he spoke almost exclusively about Manipur. He covered a huge range of issues, right from the increase in the number of acres of poppy fields to someone in their own government in Manipur actually going ahead and allowing the release of one of the drug peddlers who was caught there. He was related to one of the ministers in the Manipur government. He talked about how 5,000 arms have been stolen from the armories, and these are arms that you would go to war with, like light machine guns or big rifles, grenades. So he covered a huge range of issues in Manipur. I think a majority of the speech.
Rahul Srivastava, what should viewers expect tomorrow? We know that there's Home Minister Amit Shah speaking. A lot of his focus will be on Manipur. He's been itching for an opportunity to speak in Parliament and explain to the people of India what he's done, what the government has done. Is that the big highlight?
Yes,
what else?
Amit Shah is going to be a big one, because I believe the opposition wasted one day of debate. If Manipur was the focus on which they wanted to paint at Prime Minister Narendra Modi's door, failed Prime Minister. That's what the idea is. Rahul, be very clear, that's the only idea. The opposition has been itching. It was itching in 2018. Chaukidar Chor Hai emerged from the debate, that hug and wink emerged from that debate to set the perception agenda, failed. Again, the idea is this. Definitely, the Congress is upbeat. Rahul Gandhi is doing better. The idea is again to write on Prime Minister Modi's door, failed. But you have wasted one day. If you want to build a narrative, where is Manipur today? Am I going back home with several questions on Manipur that the government failed? The opposition has not done it. Tomorrow, Amit Shah will come and give a huge, strong explanation. I'm not saying we agree with it, but he will give his side of the story.
No, and there's a
Eventually you
lot
have
that
to-
can be said. For example, in 1993, in 1995, each time Mohan Kumaramangalam there was a riot in the past, that will be part of the Home Minister's speech. Many more people died than currently, and in Parliament there were short discussions, and the response at that time was from the Minister of State for Home Affairs, Rajesh Pilot. Here the Home Minister has spoken in the no confidence motion, the Prime Minister will speak. So there are points that the Home Minister will attack the past performance of the Congress governments by.
Let's hear him out. I'm looking forward to seeing what he has to say. I want to make one point, Rahul, not in response to what you're asking me, but what in response to Shahzad said in the beginning, which is that this was actually nothing more than a test of the opposition's alliance. And I have to say, we already tested the opposition alliance with the Delhi Ordinance Act. So there was no need to bring this about. The other question he's asked repeatedly is why did we actually allow for there to be a debate on the Delhi Ordinance Act? Well, frankly, the no confidence motion had already been called. And while even talking about the Delhi Ordinance Act, and there were a couple of other bills that passed without debate, there was no way we were going to let this pass without debate. And even while talking about it, we said that it is unprecedented that any government is allowing for debate or passing of bills while a no confidence motion has been scheduled. Normally, this never happens in Parliament. But then,
So let's spend a moment talking about the grand finale. Day 3, Prime Minister Modi's response in conclusion to this debate, and before that Rahul Gandhi. Now whether he's the speaker just before or a little before that, because the BJP may want to bring somebody in, how does that get decided? Let's assume that Rahul Gandhi speaks. Can the Congress try and set up the order in a way that he's the penultimate speaker before the Prime Minister, or does the BJP have the prerogative to choose the order and insert someone like a Smriti Irani?
See, this is open. This is not necessary.
Who decides this?
The treasury benches can decide who is going to end the debate and who is going to speak after whom. The opposition does not. A list has to be submitted. Now, eventually on that day list, if there is Rahul Gandhi's name, the BJP can always insert a name. The opposition cannot choose that Rahul Gandhi will speak the last after the treasury benches, because that choice also has to be made. So the government can insert.
Why Shashi Tharoor not on that list? He's arguably
I have a feeling that since Congress has only 51 members of parliament, it has a certain 2-hour time. And if they give too many Congress speakers, there will be little time for Rahul Gandhi.
But they have a list of many more than those who've spoken.
Yeah.
So surely on merit, Mohan Kumaramangalam, someone like a Shashi Tharoor should have been on that list, unless of course Congress is still holding a grudge against him for standing for the Congress president's election.
Dr. Tharoor made a very eloquent speech on the Delhi Ordinance Act debate. He was leading the debate for the party.
No, but he should have spoken on the no confidence motion.
Well, that would be your opinion. I assume the party made a decision after it gave him the debate to lead the debate on Delhi Ordinance Act that he wouldn't speak in this debate. They're probably giving some other people a chance.
Rahul, may I now just come in very quickly? Look, it is clear and evident as daylight that their intention wasn't to have a full fleshed out debate on Manipur. Their entire agenda is how to project Rahul Gandhi as the best leader in the pack of this so-called opposition alliance that has been built. And therefore they are looking at timing. 1 second, I did not interrupt. Rahul,
how is that? No, come on.
Rahul, I should at least get my opportunity to speak. He's interrupting.
Mohan, let's be fair. Let him
I have
speak.
not interrupted, not spoken in the
counter.
middle. Let me make my point. How is it affecting you? I'm getting an opportunity only in 3 rounds once, and there also you are interrupting me. So let me speak my mind. The fact of the matter is that if they were concerned about Manipur, today they would have devoted maximum amount of time on Manipur. They did not. They would have said what have they done in the past. They used to lay statements, not even have a short discussion. The MOS laid a statement at the time when there was the largest amount of killings in Manipur and when there was the largest bandh in Manipur. Also, apart from that, the fact of the matter is that when should Rahul Gandhi speak so that he gets maximum mileage? And now politically that might be all right, but the fact is that this is not about principles at all. They were saying, no, on principle issue we want Narendra Modi to be held accountable for this, and therefore we are holding this no confidence motion. We don't have the numbers. So what happened about that? And as far as your opposition unity is concerned, you got 102. We got 131 in what you were describing as the semi-final. So I think, and after that, Mr. Sandeep Dixit and a whole range of Congress leaders have attacked Arvind Kejriwal. So let us not get into the opposition unity bit. The fact is that this is a confidence building exercise for Rahul Gandhi, and his capabilities are very short, and therefore the Congress party is embarrassed to post him forward before the
voters will decide, because that's most important. Yes, Mohan, very quickly.
I just have to say, I love the fact that this entire debate has been made by Shehzad about Rahul Gandhi attacking him from the get-go. It just shows how terrified they are of his growing image.
No, Rahul Kanwal made it about that. I have better things to discuss.
Actually,
now
no,
you're
one second.
Rahul
Mohan
Kanwal
Kumar
sets the
Mangalam,
debate. I don't.
you read this
how
wrong.
come he
No,
gets
can I
to talk
say
now?
you read
Can I
this
please
wrong?
finish what I have to
Because
say?
it is actually in the BJP's estimate to their advantage. The more this becomes Modi versus Rahul, the more they think they benefit. The more it is Modi versus Team
I don't
India.
think I'm reading it wrong, Rahul. All I'm seeing is him trying to attack Rahul Gandhi without talking, about the merits of anyone else's arguments, and him coming up with some sort of trumped-up charge that we're trying to make this debate entirely about
Okay.
Rahul Gandhi, which isn't the case at all.
I want to walk across and show you some data sets compiled by the India Today Data Intelligence Unit, which are viraling across social media to give you a sense of some of the context in what we are seeing in Parliament. So I'll start by showing you where the two alliances stand at this moment and how things have moved. So basically, we're expecting that in the 335 is the starting point of the NDA alliance. You can add to this the BJD and the YSRCP MPs, and 144 is where India stands at this moment. Let's just move to the next one. It will show you how vote percentages have moved. If you add up all the NDA alliance partners and the UPA alliance partners, you see that the UPA is at 27, the NDA at 37. So there's a 10% gap still. Let's take a look at the parties that are involved and their vote share. So 18 parties in the NDA, 26 in the UPA, and a lot of smaller parties joining the NDA as well. So taking the number up. So the NDA may have a more number of parties in terms of the sheer number of parties that are part of the NDA, but actual parties on the ground with a strong performance there, the UPA seems to score higher. Let's take a look at the close contests, the battles from the 2019 elections, which were won by a margin of less than 5% of the votes. The BJP won 41 of those, the Congress 19, others 37, and this map gives you a visual representation of where most of those battles are. If you see, in the west, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, most of the battles were clear decisive victories for the BJP. A lot of the closer battles are battles in states like Bihar, in states like West Bengal, in states like Orissa, in states like Andhra Pradesh. That is where some of the closer battles have taken place. Those are the seats. Why we've looked at seats less than 5% gap between the winner and loser is because those are the seats where the battle is likely to be most fierce, most closely contested. Let's take a look at how long trust votes have typically gone on for. So if you see, the longest trust vote was in 1964, which went on for 6 days. The discussion went on for 6 days. The first one in 1963, when Pandit Nehru was Prime Minister, went on for 4 days. Typically, it's been about 2.5 days. That's the typical duration of the discussion, but some interesting trivia in this timeline representation of how long each of these trust votes went on for. How will we decide, Rahul, who won and to what extent? As far as the numbers are concerned, the numbers very clearly and very strongly with the BJP. What will Mohan Kumar Mangalam and the Congress try and take away? How will they try and prove that this no confidence motion actually served some purpose?
See, given the indication with Rahul Gandhi likely to speak on the last day, it seems that all the eggs have been put into Rahul Gandhi basket. It's totally up to Rahul Gandhi. So Shehzad may be right in a way that they are only trying to fix a battle, corner Prime Minister Narendra Modi and fix a summit battle between the two.
Is that a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea primarily because that not only, I will not comment on whether it is good vis-a-vis Modi versus Rahul, who wins. I think it is problematic vis-a-vis India also, because the high-hanging fruit in the India coalition is the fact they don't want to agree on a prime ministerial face. Anybody becoming the big brother or the big leader in the coalition will create jitters, and it is something that they have been trying to postpone, Rahul. 2 meetings, they have not even decided a convener. They may not fight elections together in most of the states. There might be no seat sharing. in a coalition where one-upmanship can be a problem, if Rahul Gandhi, to revive the Congress, sets up a battle, becomes the big brother in the coalition, there can be problems. So I think it can be a good thing for Congress, but for the coalition which they're trying to represent today, it can become a problem.
No, and the fact that the Congress has attempted so often, Mohan Kumaramangalam, to reinvent Rahul Gandhi and failed each time. They seem to think now, because of the Bharat Jodo Yatra, because he's just been reinstated as a member of parliament, that this time will be different. But if you look at the eloquence, the public speaking skills of both these contenders, Rahul Gandhi, very likely on day 3, has a very uphill task against him. I mean, I don't know, judge one way or the other, but he really does have a very uphill task against him. Do you want to put him under so much pressure?
I think he'll rise to the occasion as he always has in the past. And I also will say that you think he's failed, but your numbers say otherwise. If I go by the numbers you're quoting from your Lokniti CSTS survey, which shows that after Bharat
There's still a
Jodo
big
Yatra,
gap.
he
was
there
losing with a massive margin. Now he's losing with a slightly less massive
Rahul.
margin, but
Yes,
a massive
Rahul.
margin nonetheless.
If you let me finish, Rahul, what I'm saying is that we are about 10 months away from Parliament. Every day things matter. So trajectory is what matters more than anything else. Yes, there is a gap. I'm not denying it. But I'm telling you that in terms of trajectory, he's making strides every day.
Shehzad, Surya Kumar Yadav was dismissed as a failed batsman. The Congress thinks Rahul Gandhi can do a Surya Kumar Yadav, come back from the dead and show that he's King Kong.
Whether Rahul Gandhi turns out to be Surya Kumar Yadav or he turns out to be a night watchman, it's not our issue. Our issue is that we have a star batsman in the form of Narendra Modi. Now please ask Mr. Dev whether he agrees with Mr. Mohan Kumaraswamy, whether that Rahul Gandhi is the rising star of the alliance.
My name at least.
Is it acceptable to Mr. Dev that it's not Mamta Banerjee, it is not Akhilesh Yadav, it is not anybody else, but it is only Rahul Gandhi.
You
because
are
Mr.
not answering
Mr.
my
Mohan
question about
has with his statements confirmed that no other leader can match up. Only Rahul.
Yes.
Yes, Vishwajit
Mr. Poonawalla,
Sir, I feel sorry for you.
We have categorically explained this. We have categorically explained this, that this is an issue to be decided after the elections are over, after we defeat Mr. Narendra Modi and his NDA, then the 26 parties of the India Alliance will sit together.
But
and
you tell that to Congress,
about
why
the
are you telling
leadership
me?
That has been made
Okay.
very clear.
Tell Congress.
Now
So you tell Congress, why are you telling me? I am not involved in your alliance matters.
That the House was not being allowed to function by the opposition. That's not a fact. It is the government, it is the ruling party which did not allow the House to function.
Can I ask a question?
Okay,
Mr.
I'm out
Dev?
of time.
One
I'm out
small
of time.
question, one small question.
Okay,
5
10 seconds. I'm out of time.
Mr. Dev,
Mr.
Dev,
could not raise
Mr.
their
Dev,
voices,
Mr.
could
Dev,
not
just on
raise their
administrative
demands.
experience, does Mamta Banerjee have more experience than
It is
Rahul?
the bulldozing.
Does
They have
Mamta
been
Banerjee,
bulldozing.
just on administrative experience, have more experience than
Of course
Rahul?
she does.
Rahul is so scared
The
of the India
opposition
Alliance and its
parties.
unity.
The
He
opposition
can't even
parties
answer for
have been
Mamta Didi.
bulldozing.
Okay, I'm out of
This
time.
party will take
So
action
we
on
will
this.
have a day 2 and we will have a
In the
day
parliament,
3.
Rahul, you can't
You
have
have
enough
not
reading
allowed.
because in the
You have
studio.
not allowed
Tomorrow-
the opposition to raise their voices.
So you have 2 days to raise your voice and say what you will, and let the people of India judge what they think of what the government is saying, what they think of what the opposition is saying. We will track this political debate as best as we can. I want to thank our guests for joining us.